What is our course name, guys? DevOps with AWS Cloud. Our course name is DevOps with AWS Cloud. Right. Before going to discuss about the course content, I will give brief introduction about myself. Right. So I'm the trainer for this batch. My name is Raju. Right. I have 12 plus years of working experience. Right. Currently, I'm working as a senior technical specialist, guys. Right. I'm working complete full stack, guys. Java full stack developer. I'm working. Right. Along with Java, I will take care DevOps operations and AWS cloud infrastructure creation in the AWS cloud and all those things in my project. Guys, I'm not only DevOps with AWS engineer. I'm the Java full stack developer, guys. So I can able to explain everything with the internals, with the detailed, guys. Right? As a Java developer, whatever the tools we are using in the DevOps, whatever the services we are using in the AWS, all those things frequently I am using in my project, guys. Right? And so these DevOps operations and creating the infrastructure in the AWS cloud, everything will be taken care by myself only in my project. So end to end, once development is started, till delivering the project to client, in all the areas I'm involving in my project. So I can explain everything with the details, guys, with the real-time scenarios. Okay, fine. See, I have overall 12 plus years of experience, right? And as a trainer, I have 8 plus years experience, guys. Okay, coming to this course, DevOps with AWS. If you want to attend for this course, what are the main prerequisites, guys? Right, what are the main prerequisites to attend for this course? Guys, prerequisites are nothing, guys. There is no prerequisites to attend for this course. So why? Because I am going to start from very basic. To attend for this DevOps and AWS cloud, we need Linux basic knowledge, guys. But even if you don't know that Linux basic knowledge also, no problem. Here I am going to start with Linux only. So here everything you will get, right? So if you don't have the knowledge on right software side also, no problem. Happily you guys can attend for this course. Why? Because I'm going to start from very basic, guys. Very basics I'm going to start. From the Linux I'm going to start. So you will get everything in this session. What are the prerequisites we have for this course? Those prerequisites also we are going to discuss at here, guys. Is it clear? To attend for this DevOps and AWS cloud, that the main prerequisites are Linux commands. Those Linux commands also we are going to discuss in our session. Fine. Coming to the course content, guys. Linux basics required, guys, as a prerequisites. Right now, course content. Course content, guys. So what we are going to discuss in our course? So the entire course I have divided into 6 to 7 parts, guys. The entire course, this DevOps with AWS cloud course, I have divided into 6 to 7 parts. As a part one, we are going to discuss introduction of the DevOps. Introduction of the DevOps we are going to discuss, guys. Introduction of the DevOps. Introduction of the DevOps we are going to discuss as part 1. Right? In this introduction part, what we are going to discuss, what is DevOps, why DevOps is required, DevOps life cycle, what is software development life cycle, what methodologies we have in SDLC, what is waterfall methodology, what is Agile methodology, difference between waterfall and Agile methodology, all those things we are going to discuss in this introduction part. As a part 1, we are going to discuss introduction of the DevOps. Here, we are going to discuss what is DevOps, why DevOps is required, DevOps life cycle, what is software development life cycle, methodologies in software development life cycle, what is waterfall methodology, what is Agile methodology, what drawbacks we have in the waterfall, why Agile came into the picture. Everything we are going to discuss in this introduction part, guys. Once it is completed, right, we are going to start part 2. As a part 2, we are going to discuss Linux and shell scripting. Linux and shell scripting we are going to discuss. In the part 1, we are going to discuss, right, DevOps related stuff. Right, in part 2, we are going to understand what is operating system, what is Windows operating system, what is Linux operating system, introduction of the Linux, right, Linux commands, right, all those things we are going to discuss in Linux. After that, I will talk about this shell scripting, guys. To complete this part 2, Linux and shell scripting, almost we are going to spend 10 to 12 days, guys. We are going to spend 10 to 12 days only on this part 2. Why? Because Linux commands we are going to discuss approximately 6 to 7 days, guys. 6 to 7 days we are going to spend only on the Linux commands. After that, I will discuss this shell scripting, guys. Total to complete this Linux, I need 8 days, guys. And after that, minimum 4 days, 3 to 4 days are required to discuss about the shell scripting. That's why to complete this part 2, I am going to spend 12 days, guys. Okay. Once part 2 is completed, as part 3, what we are going to discuss? As part 3, we are going to discuss AWS Cloud. AWS Cloud. Right here, how many services we are going to discuss in the AWS Cloud? How many services? Suppose if you attend in the other institutes for a DevOps with AWS, maybe they will cover, right? They will cover 5 to 10, maximum 10 services, guys. Mostly they will focus on the DevOps side. And coming to AWS Cloud, they will cover 5, 6, or 7. The most important services they will cover. Okay. Even if you join only for the AWS Cloud also, they will cover at maximum 12 to 15 services, guys. But in this session, in DevOps with AWS Cloud course only, I am going to cover almost 20 plus services, guys. 20 plus services we are going to discuss at here. If you complete these 20 plus services, you can write the AWS practitioner certification also. You can finish the AWS practitioner certificate easily if you attend for this DevOps with AWS Cloud, guys. And whatever the services are required to write the AWS practitioner exam, all those services we are going to discuss it here. Okay. How many services we are going to cover here? Around 20 plus services we are going to discuss. 20 plus services. Okay. Right. So as a part 4, we are going to discuss DevOps tools. DevOps tools, we are going to discuss it here. How many DevOps tools we are going to discuss here? 15 plus DevOps tools. 15 plus DevOps tools we are going to discuss it here. Right. See, guys, in part 4, we are going to cover 15 plus DevOps tools. What tools we are going to discuss, that I will explain later. I will write it down, everything. I will write it here, guys. Please wait some time. Guys, have a look into this. The entire course I have divided into multiple parts. As a part 1, I am going to discuss about the introduction of the DevOps. As part 2, I am going to discuss Linux and shell scripting. As part 3, I am going to discuss AWS Cloud. In AWS Cloud, we are going to discuss 20 plus services. As part 4, we are going to discuss DevOps tools. In DevOps, we are going to cover 15 plus DevOps tools. To attend for this DevOps with AWS Cloud, the main prerequisites are Linux basics. Even if you don't know the Linux basics, no problem. Here we are going to discuss from beginning, guys. From scratch, we are going to discuss everything. So here you will learn, you are going to learn Linux also. Shell scripting also you are going to learn. That's why if you don't have these prerequisites also, no problem. Here we are going to start with Linux only. Okay. As part 5, what we are going to discuss? As part 5, what we are going to discuss? See here, we are going to discuss real-time projects, guys. Real-time projects. This is very, very important for us. Right here, whatever we are going to discuss in the real-time project, those projects you can keep in your resume also. Guys, here end to end, whatever we are learning in DevOps, all those 15 tools we are going to integrate in the real-time projects. Everything I will do in front of you guys only. Right? At the time of doing, I will prepare the notes and I will explain each and every stage, guys. In detail, I will explain each and every stage. Right? If you attend for this real-time projects, tomorrow, once you join in the company, how 4 years, 5 years experience people are working with the same confidence, you guys also can work if you guys attend for this real-time projects. So in that much depth, we are going to discuss in the real-time projects, guys. Okay, right here, whatever the tools we are learning, everything I'm going to integrate and I will take Java Spring Boot microservices application and I will show end to end, guys. Okay, fine. So after that, as part 6, guys, as part 6, right, in outside institutes, no one is discussing this part 6, guys. What is that? Python scripting. Python scripting also we are going to discuss. Python scripting. See here, we are learning shell scripting and we are going to learn Python scripting also. Both we are going to discuss. In the interviews, nowadays companies are expecting Python scripting also. Right? They will open Python code, guys. Right? So 200, right, 300 lines of code they are opening and they are asking you to explain that code. So that's why we are going to spend almost 15 hours on this Python scripting. I'm not going to discuss complete Python, guys. If I want to discuss complete Python, I need to spend 2 months. 2 months only on this Python. So, but here for us, for DevOps engineers, how much Python is required up to that level, I'm going to cover it here. That's why I'm telling 15 hours I'm going to spend on this Python scripting. You will get very good knowledge, guys. Right, from basics I will start. From basics I will start. What is Python? Who implemented this Python? What operators are there in Python? How to use those operators? What condition statements are there? What looping statements are there? How to write the classes? How to write the functions? How to create the objects? Everything from basics I will start, guys, and up to how much we required, right, in the DevOps and AWS, up to that much I will cover right in Python scripting, guys. Okay. After this, as part 7, right, we are going to understand what we are going to discuss. Resume preparation, guys. Resume preparation. See, guys, resume preparation, separate session. Why we require separate session for the resume preparation? In my system, so many resumes are there for 2 years experience, 3 years experience, 5 years experience, 10 years experience. I can share those resumes, right? But why I am taking separate session for the resume preparation? Right? We are learning lot of things, guys. Lot of things. Properly, we need to keep all these things in the resume. That's why I'm taking 2 hours of separate session for the resume preparation also. Right? And here I will discuss some interview questions also, guys. Services wise, DevOps tools wise, interview questions also I will discuss it here, guys. Okay, right, guys, please have a look into this course content once. The entire course we have divided into 7 parts. As part 1, we are going to discuss introduction of the DevOps. Part 2, Linux and shell scripting. Part 3, AWS cloud. Part 4, DevOps tools. Part 5, real-time projects. Part 6, right, Python scripting. Part 7, this resume preparation and interview questions I am going to discuss it here. Please have a look into this course content once. Guys, to attend for this DevOps with AWS cloud, that the main prerequisites are Linux basics. Even if you guys don't know this Linux basics, no problem. In our sessions, we are going to discuss Linux also. Okay, the entire course content I have divided into multiple parts. As part 1, we are going to discuss introduction of the DevOps. In this introduction part, what I am going to discuss? In this introduction part, I am going to talk about what is DevOps, what is DevOps, why DevOps is required. 1 minute, guys. You are asking me to give the resume in the companies. Right? If there is any requirement, definitely I will support. If there is any requirements in the companies, based on the requirements, definitely I will refer, guys. Okay, fine. Fine, guys. Here, introduction of the DevOps. In first part, what we are going to understand, guys. Here we are going to understand what is DevOps. What is DevOps? Right? Why DevOps? Why DevOps is required? Right? DevOps life cycle. DevOps life cycle. DevOps life cycle. Right? What is SDLC? What is software development life cycle? Right? Methodologies in SDLC. Methodologies in SDLC. Methodologies in SDLC. Right? What is waterfall methodology? What is waterfall methodology? Right? Advantages and disadvantages of waterfall methodology. Advantages and disadvantages in waterfall methodology. Next, what is Agile methodology? What is Agile methodology? What is Agile methodology? Advantages of Agile methodology. Advantages of Agile methodology. Right. All these things we are going to discuss as part 1, guys. Guys, have a look into this. Guys, before going to learn, right, course content is very, very important. First, you should understand the course content. Then, we can learn everything, guys. See, guys, have a look into this. What we are going to understand in part 1. What is DevOps? Why DevOps is required? DevOps life cycle. What is software development life cycle? What methodologies we have in software development life cycle? What is waterfall methodology? What advantages and disadvantages in waterfall methodology? What is Agile methodology? Advantages of the Agile methodology. All these things we are going to discuss as part 1, guys. Only AWS. Guys, your questions I will take at the end, guys. First, let me complete the course content. Right, I have another batch at 8:30. Please, guys, please support. Right, guys, I will take your questions at the end. See, guys, part 1 is clear. What we are going to discuss in part 1. Right. So, as part 2, what we are going to discuss, guys? As part 2, first we are going to discuss what is operating system. What is operating system? Right, Windows operating system. Right, Windows operating system. Right, Windows operating system. Right, Linux operating system. Linux operating system. Linux operating system. Right, Windows versus Linux. I will compare both. Windows versus Linux. I will compare both. And here Linux commands. And finally we will discuss shell scripting. Guys. So this is part 2, guys. This is part 2. What we are going to discuss in part 2? What is operating system? What is Windows operating system? Right? What is Linux operating system? And introduction of the Linux operating system. Windows versus Linux operating systems, Linux commands, shell scripting, all these things we are going to cover as part 2, guys. Okay. Fine. As part 3, guys, the main important one, guys. As part 3, what we are going to discuss. Before going to start the actual AWS services, first I will give some introduction about cloud computing, guys. And here I will discuss what is cloud computing. What is cloud computing? Right? Advantages of the cloud computing. Advantages of the cloud computing. Advantages of the cloud computing. What is cloud computing? Advantages of the cloud computing. And right, so how many ways the cloud services are segregated? How many ways the cloud services are segregated? We have three ways, guys. One is infrastructure as service, right? Platform as service, software as service. These are the three ways, guys. Next, after this, I will give the introduction of AWS. Introduction of AWS. Next, right? How to create the free tier account in the AWS. How to create free tier account in AWS. How to create free tier account in AWS. Right? AWS services overview. AWS services overview I will give. AWS services overview. Next, regions in AWS. Regions and availability zones. Availability zones in AWS, guys. Guys, this is the introduction part which I am going to discuss. Guys, have a look into this. Before going to start the actual services, I will talk about all these things. Right? What is cloud computing? Advantages of the cloud computing. Right? So, what is infrastructure as services, platform as services, software as services? After that, introduction of the AWS, how to create the free tier account in the AWS services overview, and regions and availability zones in the AWS. Right. After this, I will start the actual services, guys. See, guys, what services we are going to discuss. See, guys, first one is EC2. We will discuss about EC2, guys. EC2. EC2 stands for what, guys? Elastic Compute Cloud. Elastic Compute Cloud, guys. Next, right, AMI. AMI stands for Amazon Mission Images. Amazon Mission Images. Next, we will talk about, right, EBS. EBS stands for Elastic Block Store. Elastic Block Store. Next, we will discuss about ELB. This is one of the most important one. Elastic Load Balancer. Elastic Load Balancer. Next, we will talk about ASG. ASG stands for Auto Scaling Group. Auto Scaling Group. Right? After this ASG, guys, have a look into this. First EC2, AMI, EBS, ELB, ASG, guys. After this, I'm going to talk about Route 53. The another service which I'm going to discuss is Route 53. Route 53. Next, S3, guys. S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. Simple Storage Service. Next, we will talk about RDS. RDS stands for Relational Database. Relational Database. Right. Next, we will talk about DynamoDB. DynamoDB is NoSQL database. It is a NoSQL database. Right. So next we will talk about the very important concept. Very important concept, that is VPC, guys. That is VPC, guys. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. This is very important in the AWS. Virtual Private Cloud. Next, we will talk about CloudWatch. CloudWatch we will discuss. Right. So CloudWatch is the monitoring tool. monitoring service. This is the monitoring service, guys. After this, we will discuss about cloud formation. Cloud formation. This is also one of the important service. This is infrastructure as code service. Right? Infrastructure as code, guys. What is infrastructure as code service? We will discuss later. Right? After this, I will talk about SQS. Right? Means simple queue service. Simple, right? Queue service. Simple queue service. After that, I will discuss SNS, means simple notification service. Simple notification service. Next, I will talk about ECS. ECS stands for Elastic Container Service. Elastic Container Service. ECS stands for Elastic Container Service. Next, I will talk about IAM. This is one of the most important. And IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. Identity and Access Management. And after that, I will discuss AWS CLI. AWS CLI. This is command line interface. Command line interface. Command line interface. Right. After that, I will talk about Elastic Beanstalk. Elastic Beanstalk, guys. Right. So here, this is one of the platform as service, guys. If you give your application to Elastic Beanstalk, it will create the required platform to run our application. Right. We don't need to create the platform to run our application. Right. So next here, we will talk about serverless computing. Serverless computing. Serverless computing means lambdas. Lambdas we will discuss as serverless computing. Next, guys. Next here, we are going to discuss about very, very important one. EKS, guys. Elastic Kubernetes Service. Elastic Kubernetes Service. Elastic Kubernetes Service we will discuss. After that, so we will talk about some billing related informations. Billing related information we will discuss, guys. Have a look into this, guys. What we are going to discuss in the AWS cloud. First, before going to start the actual services, I will give brief introduction about cloud computing. What is cloud computing? What advantages we have with the cloud computing? How many ways cloud services are segregated? These are the 3 ways, guys. Infrastructure as services, platform as services, software as services. After that, introduction of the AWS. How to create the free tier account in the AWS cloud. AWS services overview. Next, regions and availability zones in the AWS cloud. So this is the introduction part, guys. Once this introduction part is completed, then I will jump into the actual services. What actual services are there? EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. If you want to create the any virtual machines in the AWS cloud, then we need to use this EC2 service, guys. To create the virtual machines, we will go with EC2 service. See, guys, EC2 stands for what? Elastic Compute Cloud. Virtual machines means what virtual machines we can create? You can create Windows virtual machine. You can create Linux virtual machine. You can create Mac virtual machine. Anything if you want to create, you need to go for this EC2 service. Next, AMI, guys. Amazon Mission Image. Instead of creating your virtual machine from scratch, if you want to create from scratch, it will take a lot of time. Just to install the operating system only, you need to spend hours of the time, guys. Instead of doing that, here it is providing one image, guys. By using this image, you can create the instances quickly. To create the EC2 instances, we are going to use Amazon Mission Images. Just it is a template kind of thing. By using this template, easily and quickly you can create the EC2 instances. Simple example, resumes. If you want to create the resume, what you will do? You will ask your friends to share the sample resume. In that sample resume, you will do the required modifications, guys. Suppose if you want to create the resume from scratch, right, it will take a lot of time. You need to take care of the alignments, you need to take care of the borders, right, and you need to type everything manually. It will take a lot of time to create the resume from scratch. Instead of that, if you take the sample resume from your friends, you no need to worry about the borders, alignments and all, right? If that person also working in your same stream, guys, both are working in same stream, then just you can modify the, right, name, email ID, phone number, small things you can modify and you can use it as it is. Here also, instead of creating the virtual machines from scratch, right, if you use these templates, these AMIs, right, you can create the instances quickly and easily. Okay. Next, right here, we can create some custom images also. AWS is providing some images. We can create our own images also based on our requirement, right? How to create the custom images, how to use the custom images, and how to use the AWS providing AMIs, everything we will discuss it here. After that, EBS means Elastic Block Store. This is the storage related, guys. Storage related, right? Whenever you have created the EC2 instances, we will get some root volume. In that root volume, operating system is available. If you want to create some extra volume is nothing but memory. If you want to create the additional volumes, you can create by using this EBS service. If you want to create the backup for the volume, you can create by using this EBS, that is called snapshot. Right? Everything we will discuss in the EBS. Elastic Load Balancer. See here, my application is running in the multiple servers. Now, I want to distribute the load to all those servers. How you can distribute the load to multiple servers? For that, we are going to use load balancer concept. This load balancer will distribute the load to multiple servers, guys. Next, auto scaling group. Based on the traffic, based on the demand, if required, servers needs to be increased. Based on the traffic, based on the demand, if required, we need to decrease the servers automatically. If you want to do manually, it is very difficult process. Your application is in live, your application is running in the production, then you can't able to do manually all these things. That's why AWS is providing one concept that is called auto scaling group. Here what it is doing, guys, based on the traffic. If multiple requests are coming, millions, billions of requests are coming, based on that traffic, automatically servers will be increased. Okay, right now we are getting just 1 lakh request, guys. Yesterday, right, 1 billion requests came. That's why servers are increased, guys. Now today again 1 lakh requests only coming. So automatically that servers count should be decreased. That is called as scale up and scale down. Scale up means increasing the servers automatically. Scale down means decreasing the server automatically. That we are going to understand in ASG, guys, auto scaling group. Next, guys, Route 53. Route 53, we will use this Route 53 for domain mapping, guys. For domain mapping, I have purchased one domain that is google.com. I have purchased one domain that is gmail.com. I want to map that domain name with my instance IP address. I want to map the domain name with my load balancer URL. I want to map the domain name with my S3 bucket URL. Then you need to go for Route 53 service. By using this Route 53 service, we can map domain name with your instances or load balancer URLs or S3 bucket URLs and all those things. Next one is S3, simple storage service. To store bulk data, unlimited data, we will go with this S3. Here we are going to create the buckets. Inside the buckets, we are going to store the objects. Whatever the objects you are storing, you can access those objects, guys. Okay, right? You can create the multiple versions. You can host the static website in the S3. A lot of things are there. We will discuss all those things at here. Next, RDS, relational database. I want to create MySQL database in AWS cloud. I want to create Postgres database. I want to create Oracle database. Right? We can create the required databases in the AWS cloud, and we will share the database details to the development team. They will configure in their application, and through application they will connect and they will use the database, guys. Okay. Next one is DynamoDB tables. This is the AWS own product, guys. This is NoSQL database, guys. SQL databases means structured database. NoSQL means there is no structure, right? The data will be stored in the form of JSON key value pairs, guys. Okay. Next, VPC. As I told, this is very important topic, guys. We are going to spend almost 4 days only on this VPC. Here we are going to create the private network for our resources, guys. Here we are going to discuss what is VPC, right? What is subnets? What is public subnet? What is private subnet? What is internet gateway? What is route tables? How to, right, map the route tables with the subnets? What is NAT gateways, etc. All these things we are going to discuss in VPC. Finally, we will talk about VPC peering also. Next, guys, CloudWatch. CloudWatch we will use for the monitoring purpose, guys. My application is running in the AWS cloud, so it will use the instances, some other resources, etc. So then CloudWatch will monitor how your application is running, how it is utilizing the resources, and everything will be monitored by this CloudWatch, guys. And CloudFormation. See here, through UI, you can create the EC2 instances. Through UI, you can create the AMI. Through UI, you can create the EBS, ELB, etc. But I don't want to create the resources using UI, guys. I want to write some code to create the resources. Then you need to go for CloudFormation. This is IAC service. IAC stands for infrastructure as code. By writing some code, you are creating the infrastructure. Then you need to go for CloudFormation. Next, guys, SQS queue service, guys. Right here, SQS means simple queue services. Here we need to queue, right? Create the queue. Publisher, subscribers are there. Publisher will publish the messages into the queue. Consumers will come and consume the messages from the queue. Here I will show, guys, right, how publisher will work, how consumer will work. I will create the queue and I will take the Spring Boot applications, right? Publisher application, subscriber application I will take, and I will show everything end to end at here, guys. Simple notification, guys. Here CloudWatch is monitoring, guys. Something goes wrong, then immediately it will push the message to the SNS queue. Right? From the SNS queue, that messages will go to the respective teams, guys. Right? Here inside the SNS, we need to create the topic. Right here, CloudWatch will publish the messages inside the topic. There some consumers are there. Those consumers will consume the messages from the topic. Okay, next, Elastic Container Service, guys. Here we need to create the containers, guys. Inside the containers only our application will run. Right? If you want to create the containers, you should have the Docker images. By using the Docker images, we will create the containers. You need to give the Docker image to the ECS. ECS will create the required container to run your application, guys. Next, IAM, guys. Whenever you have created the account in the AWS, by default, that is the root account, guys. But in the companies, they won't give the root account access. What they will do, they will create the IAM users. For every user, they will create separate account, guys. In that, suppose if you are the DevOps engineer, then you can access only few services as a DevOps engineer. You can't able to access other services, guys. If you are the developer, then they will give only for few services the access, guys. For other services, you can't able to access. Like that, based on your technology which you are working, they will create the IAM user and they will give the access only for those services, guys. Okay, here I will show how to create the IAM user, how to create the groups, how to add the IAM users to the group, how to add the policies to that group, how to add the policies to the particular user, how to create the roles, how to create the custom policies. Everything we are going to discuss in IAM service, guys. After that, AWS CLI. Here, whatever the AWS services are there, we can access those resources in two ways, guys. What two ways are there? Through user interface we can access, through command prompt also we can access. Right? How to access the AWS resources, how to connect with the AWS and how to access the resources through command prompt, everything we are going to discuss it here. Next, guys. Elastic Beanstalk, guys. I told right here, I need to spend a lot of time to develop the application. I don't have the time to create the platform, guys. If you want to run your application, compulsory, you should have the platform, then only you can run the application. But here, I don't have the time to create the platform, guys. I don't have the time to create the platform. I need to put more focus on the application development. Then no problem. AWS is providing one service that is called platform as a service. In AWS, we have platform as services. If you use those services, you don't need to create the platform explicitly. Give your application to that. They will create the required platform to run your application. Just you need to focus on your application development. You don't need to create any platform to run your application. Give your application to this Elastic Beanstalk. It will create the required platform to run your application. Elastic Beanstalk is a platform as a service. Next, serverless computing, guys, lambdas, guys. This is one of the most important, guys. With example, right? If I take any example application here, what we will do, guys, we need to create the lambda functions. Right? Instead of calling your application function directly, I will send the request to lambda function. Lambda function will trigger the function which is associated with the lambda function, guys. We are not calling the function directly. Right? We are establishing the link between your lambda function and your application function, and you will send the request to this lambda. Lambda will trigger that function, guys. If you do like this, what advantages are there? We will discuss later, guys. A lot of advantages are there. We will discuss about that later. Next, guys, Elastic Kubernetes services. This is one more important service, guys. Here, we are by using this, what we will do? We will create the Kubernetes clusters, guys. Guys, generally, Kubernetes clusters we can create in two ways, guys. One is the self-manager cluster. Second one is the provider manager cluster. Self-manager cluster means you need to create. You need to create and you need to take care everything. Here, what self-man, right? If you want to create self-manager cluster, we have two approaches, guys. One is by using Minikube, you can create. Second one is by using Kubedium, also you can create the self-manager cluster. By using Minikube, you can create a single node cluster. By using Kubedium, you can create multi-node cluster. But if you want to go with the provider manager cluster, provider means who here? AWS is the provider. Azure is the provider. GCP is the provider. IBM is the provider. Those providers also providing the clusters, you can use provider managing clusters also. When you go with the provider manager cluster, if there is any problem, you don't need to worry. Everything will be taken care by the providers only. But in the self-manager cluster, you need to take care. Here we are going to discuss both, guys. Kubernetes. In Kubernetes, we are going to understand both. Okay. These are the services which we are going to discuss if required. Based on the time, guys, right? If required, I will add few more services also. These are the minimum services which I am going to discuss in the AWS cloud. Guys, just have a look into these services once. Guys, here just I'm giving what is what. In detail, we are going to discuss with the real-time scenarios, with the practicals, guys. Don't worry. All these services are clear. This is part 3, guys. As part 3, we are going to discuss AWS cloud. In the AWS cloud, we are going to discuss 20 plus services. All these are clear. Very good. So next, guys. Next, as part 4, we are going to discuss DevOps tools. Right. So as a DevOps tools, what we are going to discuss? DevOps tools, what we are going to discuss, guys. Same, guys. The first one is, first we are going to talk about introduction of the DevOps tools. Introduction of DevOps tools. Introduction of DevOps tools we are going to discuss. As part 2, we are going to discuss as a DevOps engineer, what is our roles and responsibility? Job of DevOps engineer. DevOps engineer. Job of DevOps engineer. Okay. As part 3, right. So we are going to discuss the first tool in the DevOps, that is Maven, guys. Right. That is Maven, guys. What is this Maven, guys? Maven is a build tool. As a build tool, we are going to understand Maven, guys. Maven is a build tool. As a build tool, we are going to understand Maven, guys. Right. Next, we are going to discuss GitHub, guys. GitHub. What is this GitHub, guys? GitHub is a source code repository tool. right? We have GitHub is there, Bitbucket also is there, guys. Most of the companies will use both GitHub and Bitbucket. In our sessions, we are going to understand GitHub as a source code repository tool. If you know how to use one tool, remaining all are same. If you know how to work with GitHub, right, remaining GitLab, Bitbucket, everything is same, guys. Okay, this is what, guys, source code repository tool. Source code repository tool. Okay, guys, in tomorrow class, I will take example, right, and I will associate all these things with that example, guys. Then you guys will get more clarity. Right, when we will use MERN, when we will use GitHub, everything you will understand in tomorrow's session, guys. Just here today I'm explaining the course content. Okay, right, guys. Next we are going to understand Jenkins, guys. This is very important tool. Jenkins, we are going to discuss this one as a deployment tool. Guys. If you want to deploy the application in the servers, then we will go with this Jenkins. Here we are going to understand how to create the CI/CD pipelines. CI/CD pipeline in the Jenkins. CI/CD pipelines in the Jenkins we are going to discuss. This is very important, guys. At some companies recently, right, HCL, guys. HCL took some people who knows only Jenkins also. If you know only Jenkins also, some companies are right recruiting, guys. Some companies are taking who knows only Jenkins. Those people also getting the job, guys. Okay. Here what we are doing, guys, we are going to create the CI/CD pipelines. Right here, this is a deployment tool. Through Jenkins only, we will deploy the application in the servers, guys. Okay. After this, we are going to talk about SonarQube. SonarQube. What is the SonarQube? SonarQube is a code review tool. It is a code review tool, guys. Code review tool. Who is writing the code? Developers are writing the code. Whether developers are following the coding standards or not, whether developers are writing the test cases or not, whether the test cases are passed or not, code coverage is more than 80% or not, everything will be reviewed by this SonarQube only. SonarQube is the code review tool. Everything should be reviewed by this SonarQube, guys. If code review is success, then only your application is eligible for the deployment. Otherwise, your application is not eligible for the deployment, guys. Okay. After the SonarQube, we are going to discuss one web server also, guys. What web server we are going to discuss? Tomcat. Tomcat as a web server we are going to discuss it here. Right here, why I am discussing Tomcat here, guys? Why I am going to discuss Tomcat in this place, guys? See here, I am going to show how to deploy the application in the Tomcat manually first. First, I will show how to set up the Tomcat. Then I will show how to deploy the application in the Tomcat server manually through user interface. Next, I will explain how my Jenkins will deploy the application in the Tomcat server. Guys, first I will explain how to set up the Tomcat server in the EC2 instance. Then I will show how to deploy the application in the Tomcat server manually through user interface. Later, I will explain how my Jenkins will deploy the application in the Tomcat server automatically. All those things I am going to discuss with the examples, guys. Okay. See, guys. The first tool, Maven, we are going to discuss as build tool. Second one, GitHub, we are going to discuss as code repository tool, source code repository tool. Third one, Jenkins, we are going to discuss as the deployment tool. Fourth one, SonarQube, we are going to discuss as code review tool. After that, Tomcat, we are going to discuss as web server. Okay. After that, the next important one is Terraform. Right, Terraform, I am going to discuss it here. Terraform. What is this Terraform? Terraform is a infrastructure as code tool. Infrastructure. See, if you want to understand this Terraform, you should know how to right. You should practice all these things through user interface, guys. Right? You should practice all these things through user interface. Then only you can understand this Terraform, guys. Here, whatever you are doing through user interface, AWS management console, everything we are going to do by writing the code in the Terraform. Terraform is a infrastructure as a code. See guys, here, if you want to create the EC2 instance, right, you should have VPC guys. If you want in the VPC, you need to create a lot of things. Subnets you need to create, route tables you need to create, internet gateway you need to create, right? Security groups is required, key pair is required, lot of things are required. Right? Before this session, I had another session, guys. In that session, I explained in Terraform. See, guys, how many lines of the code I have written in simple Terraform, guys. This is the Terraform code to create the VPC, to create the EC2 instance. Again, in the VPC, we need to create the subnets, we need to create the route tables, we need to create the internet gateway, and we need to associate the route tables with the subnets. Everything I have done. See, almost 115 lines of the code I have written it here. So this is the Terraform code. If you want to understand this one, first you should practice all these AWS services through AWS management console. Then only you can understand this code, guys. Otherwise, you can't able to understand this code what I have written here. Okay, very easy, guys. Guys, Terraform is very important. In entire our course, the most important tool is Terraform. Right, I told, if you know only Jenkins also, some companies are ready to take. If you know only Terraform also, hundreds of companies are there to take you, guys. Hundreds of companies will take you if you know the Terraform, guys. Terraform is very important. Right? Nowadays, no one is creating the infrastructure through AWS management console. If you create the infrastructure through AWS management console, there is no reusability. Every time you need to create, every time you need to spend the time. There is no reusability if you create the infrastructure through AWS management console. But if you create this infrastructure by using Terraform, reusability is there. Whatever the code you are writing here, see here, I have written some code to create the VPC, to create the EC2 instance, and I will save this file and I will store this file in the repository, in some repository. Tomorrow, if any team, if any other development team, if they want this VPC and if they want the EC2 instance, I won't write this entire code again. I will go to that repository, I will pull this code and I will run it once again. That VPC, EC2 instance, everything will be created. Reusability is there. But if you create the infrastructure through AWS management console, there is no reusability. Every time you need to spend the time, guys. Hours of the time you need to spend. That's why nowadays companies are expecting to create the infrastructure using Terraform only. Why Terraform have this much popularity? Why Terraform is this much important? See guys, here using Terraform, whatever you are doing, by using CloudFormation also, you will do same thing. By using CloudFormation also, you will do same thing. Then what is the difference between these two? Right? By using CloudFormation, you can create the infrastructure only in the AWS cloud. CloudFormation will support only AWS cloud. By using CloudFormation, you can create the infrastructure only in the AWS cloud. But if you know the Terraform will support for any provider, whether it is AWS cloud or Azure or GCP or IBM cloud. Terraform will support for any cloud. If you know how to how to create the infrastructure using Terraform, then you can work with any cloud, guys. You can create the infrastructure in any cloud. Okay, but if you know CloudFormation, only in the AWS you can create by using CloudFormation. CloudFormation will not support for Azure. For Azure, we have different one. For Azure, we have different one, that is Azure Resource Manager. Right? But here in the AWS, we have the CloudFormation, guys. By using CloudFormation, you can't able to create the infrastructure in the GCP. For GCP, we have other one, guys. But if you know the Terraform, you can create the infrastructure in AWS cloud, in Azure or GCP or IBM cloud, everywhere you can create the infrastructure by using Terraform. That's why Terraform is the most powerful tool, guys. Right? If you know only Terraform, you don't know Kubernetes, you don't know Ansible, you don't know Docker and all those things. No problem. You know Terraform, lot of openings are there in the Terraform. Lot of openings are there in the Terraform, guys. Okay, I am going to discuss in detail about this Terraform, guys. I'm going to discuss. Right, I will show. See, right, in the right, previous batch in at 6 o'clock, guys. See, everything I have written in front of them only. Right, I have explained everything at the time of writing. Everything I have written in front of them only, guys. They are very strong in this now. Right, creating the infrastructure by using Terraform, they are very strong. Okay, so like this, everything I will explain, everything from scratch, everything I will explain about this Terraform also, guys. Okay, after this Terraform, I will talk about the Ansible. Ansible. What is this Ansible, guys? This is the configuration management tool. Configuration management tool. By using this Ansible, what we can do, guys? We can configure the packages. We can install the packages in the remote systems, guys. See here, I have 100 missions are there. I want to install some softwares in all those 100 missions. Then what you need to do? You need to connect with each and every mission and you need to install the packages, guys. Instead of that, here what we are going to do, guys? Here, by using this Ansible, you will connect to all 100 servers at a time remotely. And you can install the packages in all the 100 servers at a time by using this Ansible. Ansible is the configuration management tool. Right? By using Ansible, we will install the packages in the remote servers quickly and easily. Okay. After this Ansible, I will talk one more important tool that is called Docker. Docker is very, very, very important. Here, what we are going to understand, Docker is what, guys? Docker is a containerization tool. Containerization tool. Docker is a containerization tool, guys. Here, we are going to understand how to write the custom Docker files, right? How to build the Docker images from the Docker files, how to upload the Docker images in the public registries, how to upload the Docker images in the private registries, how to create the containers from the Docker images. Everything we are going to discuss in detail. Okay. Docker is a containerization tool. Before going to discuss this containerization and all those things, first I will talk what is a containerization tool. Right, before this Docker, what we have, guys, what people use it to work, right? All those things I will discuss, guys. What is virtualization? What is containerization? What drawbacks are there in the virtualization? Why people move to this containerization? Everything I will discuss. After that, Docker lifecycle I will discuss. Docker commands I will discuss. I will show how to set up the Docker in the EC2 instance. After that, I will show how to write the Docker files, custom Docker files, and how to build the Docker images from the Docker files, how to create the containers from the Docker images. Everything we will discuss. Okay. After this, we will talk about Docker Swarm. Docker Swarm. What is this Docker Swarm? Docker Swarm is a orchestration tool. Orchestration tool. What is this orchestration tool, guys? What is this orchestration? You know, right? In marriages, in functions, guys, orchestrations, band madam. Orchestrations are there, guys. Same here also. How they will do, guys? How this orchestration team will do? How orchestration team will do? Right? They will play the instruments in proper order. Same way here also. Whatever the containers you are creating by using Docker, those containers we need to manage in proper order. That's why we are going to use orchestration tool. As a orchestration tool, we have Docker Swarm and Kubernetes also. We are not going to spend much time on this Docker Swarm, guys. Why? Because in the companies, in real time, no one will use this Docker Swarm. With the Docker Swarm, we have some drawbacks. That's why in the companies, we will use Kubernetes only. But in our sessions, I will spend one day to discuss this Docker Swarm, guys. After that, I will jump into this Kubernetes, guys. What is Kubernetes? Kubernetes also orchestration tool only. This is one more important tool, guys. Right, we need to spend a lot of time on this Kubernetes, not only for the DevOps engineers, even for the Java developers also. Nowadays, this is Docker, Kubernetes, Jenkins, all these are very, very, very important. If you don't have the Kubernetes in your resume, it is very difficult to get the call, especially for the Java developers, guys. So Kubernetes is very, very important. We are going to spend, guys, in outside. You can check with any one of your friends. Array, how many days Kubernetes is discussed in our institute? You can check, guys. They will tell simply like 4 hours, 5 hours, like that they will tell. But in our sessions, we are going to discuss almost 30 hours on the Kubernetes. How many hours, guys? 30 hours, 30 hours we are going to discuss about the Kubernetes. Kubernetes is very, 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 very important, guys. Lot of components we need to discuss in the Kubernetes. We need to understand how to write the pod manifest files. What are the different objects are there? How to create the pods? How to create the services? What are the different types of services are there? How to deploy the applications in the Kubernetes cluster? What is the networking in the Kubernetes? What is Helm charts? What is ingress network? Lot of things we need to discuss in the Kubernetes. That's why I am going to spend almost 30 hours on the Kubernetes. Right, from scratch to advanced level, we are going to discuss about the Kubernetes, guys. Kubernetes is the most important tool in the DevOps. Okay, fine. After this Kubernetes, I'm going to talk about the monitoring tools, guys. We have some monitoring tools. I want to monitor how my Kubernetes cluster is running. Right, how the nodes are running in the Kubernetes cluster. I want to monitor that. After that, in the Kubernetes cluster, my application is running. How my application is running in the Kubernetes cluster, right? That also I need to monitor, guys. For that, here we have some monitoring tools. What monitoring tools are there, guys? See, guys, Prometheus, right? Prometheus is there. Prometheus, right? Next, Grafana. Hey. Prometheus, Grafana, and here we are going to talk about ELK stack. ELK. Prometheus, Grafana, and ELK, guys. What is this Prometheus, guys? What is this Prometheus? Prometheus is going to work as a data source. Prometheus will collect the logs from your Kubernetes cluster, and Prometheus will give those logs to Grafana. Grafana is the visualization tool. It will analyze the logs which are providing by this Prometheus, and it will display those logs on the web UI, guys. Web UI, guys. Okay, Grafana is the visualization tool. Prometheus is the data. Prometheus is what, guys? It is a data source, guys. It is going to work as a data source. It will collect the logs from the Kubernetes cluster, and it will give that logs to the Grafana. Grafana will analyze that logs, and it will display on the browser in the form of graphs and charts, guys. Okay, next, ELK, guys. Elasticsearch. See, guys, ELK stands for the combination of 3 open source, guys. 3 open source products. What 3 open sources are there here? What 3 open source, right? Open source products here we have, guys. We have, see, guys, here E stands for what? Elasticsearch. E stands for Elasticsearch. L stands for what? Logstash. Logstash. K stands for what? Kibana. Kibana, guys. Right? These are the 3 open source applications, guys. By using this also, we can monitor our application logs, guys. These 3 are the monitoring tools which we are going to discuss in our course. Okay. After this, we are going to discuss about, right, Nexus, guys. What is this Nexus? Nexus is the Artifactory repository tool. Artifactory repository tool, guys. Artifactory repository tool. Here what we are doing, guys, here Maven will create the artifact. Maven will build the application and it will create the artifact. So that artifact I want to store in some repository for future purpose. I want here whatever the artifact this Maven is creating, that artifact I want to keep in some repository for future purpose. That's why we are going to use Nexus as the Artifactory repository tool. Okay. After this, we will discuss about, right, Jira dashboard. What is this Jira? Right. This is the project management tool, guys. Jira is the project management tool. Jira is the project management tool, guys. Okay. See, guys, just have a look into this. What are the 15 DevOps tools we are going to discuss? tomorrow you guys are going to get complete picture about this DevOps tools, right? I will create the infrastructure with the diagrams. I will explain in tomorrow session. You guys will get complete picture what this Maven will do, what this GitHub will do, what Jenkins will do, what SonarQube will do. Already you guys got the clarity. But tomorrow I will explain what is DevOps. At that time, I will explain where we will use these tools also. Okay. Tomorrow I will explain what is DevOps, why DevOps. There I will explain where we will use these tools also. I hope you guys got the clarity which tool we will use, which purpose. What is Maven? Maven is a build tool. Right? GitHub is the source code repository tool. Jenkins is the deployment tool. SonarQube is the code review tool. Tomcat is the web server. Terraform is the infrastructure as code tool. Ansible is the configuration management tool. Docker is the containerization tool. Docker Swarm and Kubernetes are the orchestration tools. Prometheus, Grafana and ELK, these are the monitoring tools. Nexus is the artifact repository tool. Zira is the project management tool. Guys, I told Kubernetes from scratch to advanced level we will discuss, guys, in detail. I told we are going to spend almost 30 hours only on the Kubernetes. Okay, 30 hours means not 30 days. And once Kubernetes is started, I will try to take daily 2-hour session, guys. I will try to finish it in 15 days. Within 15 days, I will try to finish this Kubernetes, guys. Okay. Have a look into this. All these tools are clear. Just to have a look into these DevOps tools, guys. Guys, please respond in the chat box. Is it clear? What we are going to discuss as part 4. Good. And after this, as part 5, real-time projects. Whatever the tools we discussed here, we will integrate everything in the real-time project, guys. Whatever the tools we discussed, everything we are going to integrate in the real-time project. I will integrate, right? I will integrate GitHub with the Jenkins. I will integrate Maven with the Jenkins. I will integrate Sonar with the Jenkins. I will integrate Nexus with the Jenkins. I will integrate Docker with the Jenkins. I will integrate Kubernetes with the Jenkins. Right? We need to integrate all the tools with the Jenkins. Here, Jenkins only is going to play the very important key role here. That deployment activity, everything will be taken care by the Jenkins only. In the Jenkins, we need to write the CI/CD pipeline. In the CI/CD pipeline, we will write the different stages, guys. What is my first job? I want to take the code from the GitHub repository. Developers are written the code and they have uploaded the code into the GitHub repository. And in the CI/CD pipeline, as a first stage, we need to clone the project, download the code from the GitHub repository. Okay, it's done. As a second stage, we need to build that code. Whatever the code you have downloaded, build that code and create the package. Okay, it is done. As a third stage, whatever the package you have created, whatever the artifact you have created, upload that artifact in the Nexus repository. Okay, next, here, perform the code review. Next, create the Docker image and upload the Docker image in the Docker Hub. Next, take the Docker image and deploy the Docker image in the Kubernetes cluster. All those stages we need to write in the CI/CD pipeline. Where we have the CI/CD pipeline, who will execute the stages which are available in the CI/CD pipeline. My Jenkins only is going to run all the stages, right, one by one. So here in the real-time project, we are going to understand everything, guys. From scratch, everything we are going to understand. Okay. After that, Python scripting. As I told, I'm going to spend 15 hours on the Python. By using Python script, how to automate this Dockerization. By using Python script, how to automate this Jenkins jobs and all those things, we are going to understand it here. Before going to discuss all those things, first of all, you guys should know basics, guys. You guys should understand the basics right here. What is the data structures we have in the Python? What is class? What is function? How to write the function? How to write the if conditions? How to write the if else conditions? How to write the for loop? How to write the while loop? Right? All these things you should understand. Then only you can do the other activities, guys. Nowadays in the interviews, what they are doing, guys, in the interview itself, they are opening the code in their mission and they are asking you to explain that code. Right? Then if you want to explain that, you should know, right, how to write the function, how to write the class, how to write the conditions, how to write the loops. Everything you should know. Then only you can explain that code, guys. Okay. Finally, resume preparation and interview questions, guys. So these are the 7 parts, guys. The entire course we have divided into these 7 parts. After completing the session, you guys can ask, guys, if I miss anything, keep this notepad with you. If I miss anything, you guys can question me. Okay. Guys, these are the basic things. These are the minimum, sorry, not basic. These are the minimum things, guys, based on the time. If we have the time, and if required, if I feel, right, so some more things are need to discuss, then definitely I will add those things also. Right? Why? Because I'm working employee. Right? If I feel something new, which I'm doing in my projects, definitely I will add those things also at here. Okay. Fine, guys. After this, guys, daily class timings, guys. Daily class timings, guys, for few days, guys, for initial days, right, I will take the sessions from 7:30 p.m. guys, 7:30 p.m. IST, okay, to, right, till 8:45, like that I will take, guys. Right. So after 1 month, right, for first 1 month I will take the sessions like that. After that, I will change the timings, guys. I will start the session at 8:30, guys. 8:30 I will start the session, guys. 8:30 p.m. to till 10 o'clock. Till 10 o'clock I will take, guys. But first 1 month, right, we need to adjust, guys. At 7:30 it will start, 7:30 to 8:45, like that I will take. Okay. After that, I will start the session at 8:30 to till 10:30. Right. Once Kubernetes is started, we can extend the time also based on our topics and all, guys. Okay. Fine, guys. After this, right, class notes, guys. Class notes. See, guys, I'm not going to download the class notes from anywhere. The very first point, guys, I'm not going to download the class notes from anywhere. Right here, however I have written it here, at the time of discussing only, and I will prepare the notes also for you guys. I will write everything in the notepad at the time of discussing only. I will do multitasking, guys. I will do multitasking. I will prepare everything at here. Once a class is completed, I will share that notes. Guys, I'm not going to download the notes from anywhere. Right? In the class, whatever is coming from my mouth, everything I will put in the notepad. Once class is completed, I will share that notes. If you go through that notes, right, once class is completed, you can recollect everything what we discussed in the class. Why? Because whatever I'm telling, those things only I'm going to keep in the notes, guys. Okay, right? So next, guys, coming to class recordings up to 1 year access, guys. Right, with 1 year access, you guys will get the recordings also. Class notes will be uploaded in the Telegram. And class recordings you guys can get from the Google Drive. They will create the group in the Google Drive every day. Once class is finished, they will upload the class recording in the Google Drive. From there, you guys can access. You guys can't able to download, guys. Just you guys can access up to 1 year. Okay, guys. Duration of this course. Guys. Guys, observe carefully. Exclude this Linux and shell scripting. I need 3 months of time, guys. 3 months. Exclude that Linux and shell scripting and Python scripting. Okay. Python scripting, no problem. I will take Saturday, Sundays, guys. Saturday, Sundays, I will spend time and I can able to finish this Python scripting. Exclude that Linux and shell scripting. To finish all these topics, I need 3 months of the time, guys. Okay, this is the duration of the course, guys. Just to think, right, is it possible to finish this much of course content in 2 months? I told Kubernetes I'm going to discuss in 30 hours, means right, 15 days almost, guys. Just to discuss Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, we need 1 month time, guys. You know, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, these 3 concepts. To discuss these 3 concepts, 1 month time is required. So that much in-depth subject is there. Some people will feel, is it not possible to finish in 2 months? I can do that. But you guys can't able to get everything. Okay, here time is not important, guys. Right here, you guys need to understand whether you guys are getting everything or not. Okay, that right. I'm not going to right. I'm not going to 4 months, 5 months, guys. Right. I will try to finish everything on time, guys. Right. If there is any festivals come in the middle, then it will extend 1 week, max 1 week to 10 days, guys. Otherwise, I will try to complete everything right within 3 months only. Is it clear? Now, if you guys have any questions, now you guys can ask. Course content wise clear? First, please respond for that. Course content wise clear? Guys, please respond. Course content wise, everyone is clear? Right. After that course content, right? Class timings clear? Course fee that management will tell, guys. Course fee, about fee they will tell. Please contact with them. They will tell. Okay. Right. Course wise, right? Subject wise, if you guys, if any questions, I'm here, guys, to explain. This is online training, guys, not classroom training. This is online training, complete online training. Guys, notes wise clear? Notes wise clear? Whatever I am discussing, right, simultaneously, right, I will prepare the notes also for you guys. You guys are not required to prepare any running notes. Just focus on the subject. Just focus on the subject, guys. Listen what I'm explaining properly. Right, notes wise, for you guys, I am preparing the notes. I will prepare the notes for you guys. Whatever I'm teaching, everything I will keep in the notes and I will share that notes. You guys are not required to write any running notes. Let me show some previous batches notes, guys. See here, if you take this, you can take. See, guys, here I explained what is AWS. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. AWS is providing cloud infrastructure from 2006 onwards. Amazon company is providing the services for 190 plus countries around the globe. Amazon company providing reliable, highly scalable and low cost infrastructure platforms. What is EC2? EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. By using EC2, we can create the virtual machines in the AWS cloud. Example, we can create Linux virtual machines, Windows virtual machines, Mac virtual machines, etc. Right, EC2 virtual machines, we will call it as servers, instances, and VMs. Based on your requirement, you can create any number of EC2 instances. What are the instance types we have? On-demand instances, reserved instances, spot instances, dedicated instances. What is on-demand instances, reserved instances, spot instances, dedicated instances I have given. What is instance families? What is instance state? If you want to launch the virtual machine, what we require? Is it clear, guys? Like this, everything I will prepare and I will share, guys. Right? You guys not required to worry about the notes. See here, if you go to here I explained what is infrastructure, what is infrastructure, what is IT infrastructure, what is on-premise infrastructure or in-house infrastructure. Next, what is cloud computing? Providing the IT resources on demand basis over the internet is called as cloud computing. Cloud providers are giving the infrastructure based on pay as you go approach. What advantages we have with cloud computing, and what cloud providers are available in the market, how many ways cloud services are segregated, what is infrastructure as service, what is platform as service, what is software as service, what is global infrastructure, how to manage the global infrastructure by using regions and availability zones. What are the availability zones? Is it clear, guys? This notes is enough or not? Guys, everything I will show in the class. Don't worry. Everything I will show. How to install the things and everything I will show in the class. You guys not required to worry. Right? So you guys are getting recordings also, right? If you want to do anything, just you guys can open the recording session and follow that recording session to do the installations and all. Okay? You guys can use the recordings as reference to practice and for doing the installations, guys. Okay. Any questions? Guys, anyone have any questions still? Please ask. If you guys don't have questions, laptop configuration, basic configuration is enough, madam. Why? Because we are not going to do anything in our laptop. Right, through our laptop, through our machine, we are going to connect with the AWS cloud, and in the AWS cloud we are going to create the instances. We are going to practice everything in the instances only, which we are going to create in the AWS cloud. Okay, that's why basic configuration is enough, right? High configuration is not required here. Okay, we are not going to do anything in our laptop, right? From our mission, we are going to connect to the AWS cloud through internet. In the AWS cloud, we are going to create the virtual missions. In that virtual missions only, we are going to practice everything. Okay, that's why basic configuration is enough. Offline classes, please check with management. My batches are not available, guys. My sessions are only online. I'm not from Hyderabad. That's why. Maybe other trainer classes are available if you guys want offline. Okay, laptop, 1 minute. Let me go up little bit. Geeta, especially for Java developers, DevOps and AWS cloud is very, very important nowadays. Understood? For Java developers, especially for the Java developers, right? DevOps and AWS cloud is very, very important. If you keep AWS cloud and DevOps along with the Java in your resume, right? So you will definitely, they will offer very good packages. Why? Because with one person they can do multiple works. With one person, right? Whatever the DevOps engineers will do, same work as a Java developer, you also can do. Why? Because as a Java developer, every day you will use Maven, right? Every day you will use GitHub, right? Every day you will use SonarQube, right? Every day you will use Jenkins, right? Are you using or not? As a Java developer, are you using all these tools or not? Right? We are using, right? Right. Same. Docker also. Nowadays, Docker also we are doing that. We are building the Docker images, right? And just we should understand Kubernetes, how to deploy the application in the Kubernetes clusters. No problem. Here I will provide, right? Here, even if you don't have the basic knowledge also, no problem. Here I am going to discuss from scratch. No problem. Right. That's why, right? Prerequisites are nothing for this session. I am going to discuss everything from here. Next 1 minute. Okay. Right, Docker, Kubernetes, everything we are going to discuss from scratch. Maven also. Before going to start Maven also, for Maven, basic Java knowledge is required. There we should know what is package, right? What is pom.xml file? Inside the pom.xml file, how to configure the dependencies, what is dependency, what is artifact ID, what is group ID. As a Java developer, you know all these things. In our projects, daily we are doing. Right, we are adding a lot of dependencies in the pom.xml. We know from where Maven will download those dependencies. We know M2 repository. We know what is remote repository. But right, DevOps engineers, so new people, they don't know, right? That's why, right, before going to start the Maven, I will give the brief overview of the Java also. What is Java? Right, what is jar file? What is var file? That complete brief introduction I will give. Then I will come to the Maven. Directly if I start the Maven, people can't able to understand. I told everything I will start from basics. Okay. Maven, GitHub, Jenkins, everything I'm going to start from very basic. You guys, no need to worry if you don't know anything also. Here you are going to learn everything from scratch. I'm into Java background. Okay, Kubernetes, Docker, exams. Right, you can write. This is right here. Whatever we are going to discuss, right, this is more than enough. Right, after this, right, if you get any dumps, any sample question papers, right, you can go through that. Whether you are able to answer all the questions or not, you can check. Right, if you are not able to answer any questions, you can ask to me. I will explain. Okay. Pascala, someone asked this question. Okay. First have a look into that questions, what they are asking. If you guys are not able to answer those questions, right, so I'm here to explain. You guys can ask me. Laptop configuration, basic configuration is enough. Part 5, part 6. How man? We need to focus on other people also, right? We need to focus on other people also. Right, every batch we need to start from basics. What is part 5, part 7? Let me have a look into that. What is part 5? Oh, these two are last things, right? These two. No, morning batch is there. For morning batch, I'm going to start the DevOps. Part 4, I'm going to start from Monday, coming Monday. Part 5 and part 6, some time is there. Right, in morning 7:30 we have one batch. In that batch, I'm going to start the DevOps. AWS is completed for them. I'm going to start the DevOps from next Monday in the morning batch. Nothing is required. Harsha, nothing is required. There is no any programming. Even that in Terraform also, that is not programming. That is just that is HashiCorp language. Small things only. Here zero programming. Everything we are going to do. Everything we are going to do at using Linux commands only. Everything we are going to do using Linux commands only. There is no programming language. There is no programming language. So even if you don't know the programming, no worry. Okay. Any other questions? Sri Vatsav, please check with the management. They will tell about fees details and all. I'm not the right person to discuss those things. I don't have idea on all those things. Right. Subject wise, I can explain anything. Right. They will approach you. Sri Vatsav, don't worry. They will connect you already. Already your mail and mobile number, everything you have registered, right? So as per that, they will approach you and they will tell fees details and everything. Don't worry. Nagios, we are not going to discuss that Nagios in the DevOps tools. That is almost no one is using, that is outdated almost. Oh, screen sharing is closed. What about other questions, guys? See here, they have provided the contact details, right? For fee details and everything, please call to this number. They will provide the details. Please take this number, right? So you guys can contact with this number. They will provide the fee details and all. Guys, sessions are very practical, guys. It will go practical way, guys. All result time scenarios I will discuss. What I am expecting from you guys, two-way communication is required, right? Then only you guys can learn more subject, guys. At the time of discussing, I will ask the questions. You guys should respond for that. Then only I can able to understand whether you guys are following or not. Okay. One-way communication is not good, guys. Two-way communication is required. You guys can ask any question, guys. I'm here to explain. If you guys are not clear, you guys can ask. I will explain one more time, guys. But two-way communication is required. Okay. Right. If when I ask the questions, if you guys are responding right, I will also get more interest and I can able to deliver more subject also, guys. If you guys are not responding, what I will feel are basic things only. These guys are not practicing and these guys are not preparing and these guys are not responding. Why I need to discuss extra things? I will get that feeling. That's why please respond when I ask the questions. Definitely, I will provide good subject list. Guys, every day you are working person. Are you working person? Right. Okay. Right. If you are working person, at least try to spend 2 hours every day, guys. Right. What you guys need to put one target, guys. Right. Before ending of this course, everyone should get the job. Before ending of the course, everyone should get the job. That is the target what you guys need to fix. Some people will feel, after completing the course, we will spend 2 months for practice. After the 2 months, we can attend for the interview. Like that. No, guys. No, already I told. Right. So we won't use all the tools in the companies. Some people will use only Jenkins in their company. Some people will use only Terraform in their company. Some people will use Kubernetes only. So that's why you people are not required to wait until completing entire course. After completing the DevOps tools, once Jenkins is completed, you can start attending for the interviews. Understood? If you start attending for the interviews like that, right? Definitely by the end of the course, everyone will get the job days. Okay? Why? Because if they asked any new things, right? I am here to explain. I am here to explain. Okay. After completing the course, right? So again, if you spend some time for practice, right? And after that, if you attend for the interviews, right? It is time waste. You guys will forget everything. That's why, right? Fix one target, guys. Before end of this course, you guys need to get the job. If you want to get the job like that, you need to start attending the interview after completing 50% of the course. Don't wait till completing entire course. Okay? Guys, in Capgemini, Cognizant, what other companies? Right? In very big MNC companies, guys, right? Very, a lot of openings are there only on the Terraform. In HCL, a lot of openings are there only on the Jenkins. I know, guys. I know. Recently, our students are joined in HCL only on the Jenkins. Our students are joined in the Capgemini only on the Terraform, guys. Right? Our old students, they joined 2 years back. Still, they are working only on the Terraform. They forget everything. Kubernetes, Docker, everything they forget. From joining day till today, they are working only on the Terraform. Right? All the companies, no one will use all the tools, guys. Based on their project requirement, they will choose some tools. But here, for interview purpose, you need all. For interview purpose, you need all, guys. But coming to working, guys, no one will use all these tools, guys. No need to worry. But we should learn all those things, guys. Okay? Still any questions? Please try to attend for the live sessions. Right? Then if you guys have any questions like this, how we discussing today, like this, we can discuss your questions and all. Right? Some people will feel, anyway, they will share the recording, right? We can go through that recording. Right? At the time of, right? So going through that recording, if you guys got any questions, who will explain? Tell me. If you guys are attending for the live session, if you guys have any questions, at the end, I'm here to explain. But in the recordings, who will explain? Recording is only for the reference. While doing practice, recording is only for the reference. Okay. Try to attend for the live sessions regularly. Try to practice. Try to spend 2 hours daily, guys. At least 2 hours spend, guys, for practicing. Right. Then definitely you guys will get the job, right, before end of this course. Any questions? Done? Very good. Fine, guys. Tomorrow we will connect. Tomorrow we will discuss in detail, guys. Thank you. I'm stopping for today. Thanks for joining us. Good night.